everyone, in this video we are going to discuss about plagiarism. So this comes as a part of ethics or research ethics under research aptitude. So if you just focus on the very recent exams and the questions, you can find that they are exploring this area so much so that we are getting a lot of questions from this particular topic. So that's why we are going to discuss this particular concept or topic in this session, and particularly after discussion we will be focusing on some of the questions from the very recent exam June 2023, and we are trying to answer those questions based on what we discussed in this session. So what do you mean by plagiarism? So plagiarism is the appropriation of another person's ideas, processes, results or words without giving appropriate credit. So of course when you're doing, when you're writing a thesis or you're writing a research paper, at times we need to take the ideas or concepts from other person. But at that point of time, what you have to do is you have to mention, you have to give appropriate credit to the person from whom you are taking that idea. But if you're not giving that appropriate credit and taking another person's idea, processes, results or words, then that is an ethical issue, and that can be termed as plagiarism. So plagiarism can be generally classified into three different types. We have intracorpal plagiarism, then extracorpal plagiarism, and also auto-plagiarism. So what do you mean by intracorpal plagiarism? A case of plagiarism where one student has copied from another in the same submission. That means if you are submitting or if you are submitting a project or assignment or anything for that matter, and one student is copying from another student, both of them are submitting to this, or both of them are submitting together, and one person has copied from another person, that can be called as the intracorpal plagiarism. So we are copying from the same corpus. Both these students are submitting together, and this corpus means the entire submitted documents, and one person from the same corpus has been copied from another person from the same corpus. That is the idea. So that is intracorpal plagiarism. Then you have extracorpal plagiarism. What do you mean by extracorpal plagiarism? It is an instance of plagiarism where a student has copied the material from an external source. So it's not from the same corpus of knowledge, or it's not from the same corpus, or it's not from the same documents that they are all submitted, but one student or one researcher, he is actually taking material, or that person is copying material from an external source without giving appropriate credit. So that is extracorpal plagiarism. The third one is auto-plagiarism. So what do you mean by auto-plagiarism? It is citing one's own work without acknowledgement. Even if you are taking an idea from your own previous work, you have to give that acknowledgement. So if you're not giving the proper acknowledgement, and if you're citing from your own work without any kind of acknowledgements, that can be called as auto-plagiarism. So these are the general three types of plagiarism. We have intracorpal plagiarism, extracorpal as well as auto-plagiarism. Now we are moving to the different levels of plagiarism. So according to UGC Promotion of Academic Integrity and Prevention of Plagiarism in Higher Educational Institutions Regulation 2018, plagiarism would be quantified into various levels, and those levels are given here in the ascending order of its severity. So if you consider level 0, that means similarities up to 10%. So if you're taking some ideas or some concepts from other work, and if there is some similarities between your work and another work, and it is up to 10%, that is what we consider as level 0. And this is considered as minor similarities, and it is some kind of somewhat allowed. There is no penalty for 10%, up to similarities up to 10%. Level 1 is similarities above 10% to 40%, and level 2 is similarities above 40% to 60%, and level 3 is similarities above 60%. So these levels are very important because we have got a lot of questions in June 2023 exams from this different levels of plagiarism. So level 0 similarities up to 10%, level 1 is similarities above 10% up to 40%, level 2 40 to 60, and level 3 above 60%. And again, if you consider these different levels, there are certain penalties that are mentioned in these regulations according to each of these levels. So penalties in case of plagiarism in submission of thesis and dissertations. So if it's level 0, we said that level 0 means similarities up to 10%. So it is considered as minor similarities and there is no penalty. And if you consider level 1, that is similarities above 10% up to 40%. So for that, what is the penalty? Such students shall be asked to submit a revised script within a stipulated time period not exceeding 6 months. So if a particular dissertation or thesis is reviewed or it is checked, and if it's find that there is level 1 of plagiarism or there are similarities above 10% to 40%, such students will be asked to submit a revised script, and they'll give a particular time period within 6 months, and they need to revise the script and they have to resubmit it. Okay, that is the penalty for level 1. Level 2, that means similarities above 40% to 60%. So for level 2, such students shall be debarred from submitting a revised script for a period of 1 year. So such students, if a particular thesis or dissertation is having similarities above 40% to 60%, it is considered as level 2, and the penalty is such students are not supposed, or they shall be debarred from submitting a revised script for a period of 1 year. They cannot resubmit a revised script up to 1 year. And level 3 means similarities above 60%. So that much of copying is happening there. So level 3 is similarities above 60%. And the penalty is such student registration for that program shall be cancelled. So if a thesis or dissertation is reviewed or it is evaluated, and if it's find that there are similarities above 60% or there is level 3 of plagiarism happened in that thesis or dissertation, what is the penalty? Such student registration for that particular program shall be cancelled. another important idea that you have to focus here is the similarity checks for plagiarism shall exclude the following. So we said that we have various levels of plagiarism, and there is another point, which are the areas that are excluded from the similarity checks, or which are the things that can be excluded from plagiarism. Okay, so that is another important idea that we need to focus on. Three important things can be excluded from the similarity checks for plagiarism. One is all quoted work reproduced with all necessary permission and raw attribution. So if we have taken some quoted works, or we are quoted from some material, and if we are just given the appropriate credit to that source, that can be excluded. We can take ideas from other works, we can quote things from other works, but we have to give necessary or it has to be given necessary attribution or appropriate credit. In that manner, it can be excluded. The next one is all references, bibliography, table of content, preface and acknowledgements. All these things are excluded from similarity check. And the final one is all generic terms, laws, standard symbols and standard equations. So if we are taken, or if we have just mentioned certain equations, we cannot consider it as a plagiarism. We cannot consider it under the similarity check for plagiarism. We need that in order to prove certain things. So those kinds of equations, laws, generic terms, those things are excluded. So quoted work reproduced with all necessary permission and or attribution, references, bibliography, table of content, preface and acknowledgement, and generic terms, laws, standard symbols and standard equations. All these are excluded from the similarity checks of plagiarism. Another important idea is about a body that is constituted at the departmental level of higher education in order to verify or in order to investigate the academic misconduct. So that is termed as Departmental Academic Integrity Panel. So this Departmental Academic Integrity Panel shall mean the body constituted at the departmental level to investigate allegations of plagiarism. So this is a body that is constituted at the departmental level of higher education institution in order to investigate on academic misconduct, and which includes these allegations of plagiarism as well. So please do remember about this body as well, because it's a very important body associated with the this entire plagiarism and this entire investigation regarded to allegations on plagiarism. So these are some of the important ideas you require in order to answer the questions from plagiarism, especially in the questions that were asked in the June 2023 NET exam. So let's go through certain sample questions, so that will make you or that will give you a further more clearer idea about what we have discussed so far. So here you have the first question. According to UGC regulation 2018 on plagiarism, a similarity of 14% would correspond to which of the following levels of plagiarism? So we have already discussed about the various levels, ascending order, the levels of plagiarism according to the UGC regulation 2018 on plagiarism. So it says that a similarity of 14%, so it's above 10%, right? So if you just consider the levels that we have already discussed, similarities above 10% to 40%, that comes in level 1, and the question asks us to find, or in the question it is mentioned as similarities up to 14%. So of course that comes in level 1, right? So the question is like that, a similarity of 14%, about 10%, 14%. So that is level 1, that is option B. So the right answer for this question is option B itself. Moving to the next question. According to the UGC regulations 2018 on plagiarism, similarity of 42% refers to which of the following levels of plagiarism? So 42% means similarities in between 40 to 60%, that is level 2, right? So that is level 2, 40% to 60%. So that is level 2. So level 2 is option C. So the right answer is option C itself. Moving to the next question. In the submission of thesis, if a student is found to commit plagiarism of level 3, as per UGC regulations 2018 on plagiarism, the following penalty will be imposed, and we have the options. Students shall be debarred from submitting the revised thesis for a period of 1 year. Students' registration for that program shall be cancelled. Students shall be rebarred from submitting the revised thesis for 6 months. Students shall be asked to submit the revised thesis within 6 months. We have already discussed about the penalties that are associated with each of the levels of plagiarism, and it is asked here in the question to identify the penalty that is associated with level 3. Right, level 3, the highest level, right? So, if a student is found to commit a plagiarism of level 3 as per UGC regulations 2018 on plagiarism, the following penalty will be imposed. And which one was the penalty that was associated with level 3? That is option B, right? Students' registration for that program shall be cancelled. So, the right answer is option B. So, in this session, we have discussed about plagiarism, a very important area, especially if you consider the very recent exam, June 2023 exam. We have got a lot of questions from this area, and this plagiarism as a topic comes under research ethics. Again, a very important topic to focus on. And in this session, we have discussed about what is plagiarism, the various types of plagiarism, and also we have gone through the different levels and also the penalties that are associated with each of these levels according to UGC regulation on plagiarism 2018. So, I hope you got a very good idea about plagiarism through this session, and this is how you have to prepare for your NET exam as well. You have to analyze the question papers, the previous year question papers, especially the very recent questions, and then you'll get an idea what they are focusing on. At certain exams, they will explore certain topics so much so that we need to have a furthermore clearer idea about that topic. If you consider the previous year questions, plagiarism was not an area from which we were getting a lot of questions, but in the recent exams, they have explored it so much so that they have even explored the regulation of 2018, the UGC regulation on plagiarism 2018 as well. So, if you have an idea about it, you can answer these questions. Otherwise, it's not that easy. So, this is how you have to structure, this is how you have to make your preparations more effective. And if you need this kind of a more effective structured preparations for your next attempt, you can consider Appleby Academy's courses. We are offering offline as well as online courses here. So, in order to know more about our courses, you can just contact the number that is given in the description box. So, thanks for watching and happy learning.